Jimmy Cavs in the 50 with 50 interview series in Bulldozer magazine in Hollywood. For those of you who know me personally, you know that I fucking despise and hate Hollywood. Even back in the day when the hardcore punk scene was going on here, I hate Hollywood. I hate it. I hate the fucking rainbow. But why am I here? Because Mammoth Lake's very isolated, very unique, and very truly brutal band, black metal band, Valdur is here. How you guys doing?
Excellent.
Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Matthew.
Vuk.
William.
For those of you that are not familiar with Valdur, there must be a problem, but here's the deal. Valdur is what I would say the real deal when it comes to underground DIY black metal. I would say within the last 10 years, black metal has hit somewhat of a stagnation period, especially creatively. And it's bands like these that are thriving in the underground. And yeah, they're thriving, pushing the boundaries of Valdur. So let's find out what's going on with you guys. You guys just released, or you're on the verge of releasing, a new LP, correct?
Yes, sir.
Pathetic Scum.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Speaks for itself.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
It speaks for itself. You know, it's basically up to the individual to interpret the title, because it's nothing deep or philosophical. We don't waste time on that. You know, we'd rather spend time just doing the things we love, like playing music or running around in our beautiful countryside where we live up in the Sierras. You know, that's really important to us.
Yeah.
And as we travel the world through music or other personal experiences, we just kind of see the dark, pathetic, scummy side of life. And usually we write songs about, you know, more majestic, powerful things like the spirit and the surroundings. But maybe this time it was more like, well, let's do the other side of that, you know. And it wasn't conceptualized or thought about, premeditated at all. It was just like we just puked it out, and you know, here we have this new batch of songs, really, you know.
For me, when I discovered you like about 5-6 years ago, one of the things that I enjoyed about your band, and it's still present day now, is the fact that you're doing extreme black metal, but you're doing it in a way where it's unique and refreshing. The last 2 records you put out have been extremely brutal. Everyone tries to be brutal, especially with the imagery, but they really leave out the true essence of it, which is the music.
Yeah.
This album seems, just when I thought you couldn't do it, it seems even more catastrophic.
Thanks.
I mean that as a compliment, but at the same time, this is a very fucking powerful record, dude. What, aside from the obvious, has gone into this? Is this like a personal struggle thing? Is it just you sick of what's going on in the scene even now?
In our blood, you know. That's what we're here to do, you know. And getting Rob in here, he's thrown in a lot of good riffs, and it's fucking amazing, you know. It's the next realm of Valdur, and it's not gonna get softer. It's only gonna get harder.
Would you say that we're gonna get to you in a minute. Would you say that having new band members has brought in some sort of maybe like a rejuveneration, a refreshing new spirit?
The spirit's always there regardless. Having new people come in who are good people definitely adds to it though, but it's not like we're not going to do something where it's not there. That's not allowed. It's definitely required, or you're not going to really hang out with us, you know, or something. You have to be a strong individual and bring what you have to the table, and then we just go from there, you know. And again, we don't look too deep. We just go with it and move forward, you know. And we don't waste our time with. We're not easily fooled or tricked into thinking that, well, we have to have a certain image to become what we want to become. We already have become who we are as people, and so we stand on our own 2 feet individually, and that's what we all do. And we're not fooled by people's tricks or their magic
Scenes.
tricks, and their little clicks and stuff. And we have our friends and we have our lives that are very private up in the mountains, you know. And most people don't know that California has the highest peak in the lower 48 states, and it's right next door to us. And you know, so that is just our lifestyle. And
It's Hollywood, bunch of fucking assholes.
well, whatever. It's just around the world. It's just like not knowing different parts of the world. You wouldn't know, you know. So it's not like you can blame other people. It's just that's where we come from. And again, we're not easily fooled, and we're not here to fool anybody or trick anybody with magic tricks and little smoke bombs and stuff. It's more
Well,
just like
it's-
music is there to be absorbed and then take it or leave it.
It's really relevant, as I mentioned, Pathetic Scum, which is coming out June 30th, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
officially. Although we are like
You
we
get
have
one
them.
tonight.
Yeah. We sold a bunch on the road because that's some bread and butter to put back in the gas tank. But still, like officially, yes. Thanks to Earsplit, Liz and Dave, they've helped us so much, and that's what. Yeah. So June 30th is sort of like when it'll be available all over the place. But thanks for coming out to the shows and picking one up in the last few nights, which they've gone like I think we're almost out.
Yeah, you've been on tour here in California. You played Sacramento, you played Oakland last night. How's that going?
Excellent. Sacramento is always super fun. We know a lot of people there, and they all come out. We're starting to recognize them more and more and get more close to them personally as people instead of just like, oh, they're at the show. It's like, it's good to see those people again. Especially like Derek and all those guys. It's a big gang of people.
You have a very interesting following for a band that doesn't really rely on PR like most bands, especially here where they want to fucking talk about themselves. For a band that doesn't rely on PR, you're not jumping on the whole Facebook thing. You guys are very obscure. You're very underground. You're very, as you mentioned, somewhat isolated, but not in a bad way. We talked about this before when you were on my show. That due to that isolation, you've been able to develop yourselves and your unique sound. But you have a very interesting following for a band that doesn't really push themselves. I mean, I don't mean that in a deflammatory way, but the music is really doing the talking, which brings me to you, Vuk. You're the new member of Valdur. How do you feel about being a part of this band?
I couldn't be happier. Yeah, it's great.
Did you record on this album?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the experience of it. Did you enjoy that?
It was great, man. It was just like us hanging out, jamming like we always do, and then you just press record and shit. And yeah, it was great. Couldn't ask for a better experience with these dudes.
Did you find yourself, because you two have been together for a while, and you've gone through trials and tribulations with, past members and blah blah blah. So you've bonded. Right. You've been on the road. You've bonded. Bringing in a new person, did you feel the energy and the concept of what Valdur really is, and did you feel that you were bringing something into this project?
Yeah, well, that's all I could hope. I wasn't trying to do something that I didn't think these guys would be into, and I know that is what I wanted to do for me personally. So, yeah, I don't know.
What a perfect record for you to jump on board. Was this music written before the new member, or did you guys all write it together? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, Rob lives in Mammoth. We found another guitar player in the middle of nowhere that likes metal and rips on a guitar, so we got really lucky with that. Instead of flying people in or whatever, doing, having people come in that way, but
Local boy.
yeah, I've known Rob for over 10 years, so
He would come to our shows.
yeah.
For years and
Oh,
years.
so you're really familiar with Valdur then.
yeah.
You were familiar with the beast and the whole thing.
Yeah, and I just try to keep it fast, and that's the thing. It's like, if you want to listen to the same thing over and over again, like, just listen to the same thing over and over again, like, sweet. But that is not something that me as a musician can just regurgitate what you've heard over and over again. I mean, there's got to be progression in it. So, I mean, that was a huge ass.
And
And these
down
guys,
some killer riffs.
And that's the advancement that you hear on the new songs.
There is a growth in this record. There really is. I mean,
I feel it being in Valdur since the beginning, like this album is really powerful and makes me feel good. I wake up every morning and go for a hike and listen to it, and every time I listen to it, I'm like, yes, this is good.
It's like
and that's the
vindicated.
feedback we're getting from other people is like, this is your best shit so far. So I don't know, we just need to keep it up.
I wouldn't say that, because your two prior releases, each one stands on its own merits.
Right.
Each one stands on its own. Trust me, if you had a Turbo Lover in there, I would tell you. Each one stands on its own merits. But the difference between this one, and that's why I asked the question about New Blood coming in, is that aside from it just taking that power and that crushing, that just devastating energy and creativity that you have, it just really goes into a whole other realm, especially vocally.
Yeah.
Which, let's talk about the vocalist. What's the situation there? There's a confusion.
On record or live?